Hey, Steve Domenico here in the Room podcast. Friday night, the end of the week, getting ready for the weekend. Here, special guest, messenger videoed in is Connor being Knuckleberry. Connor, man, dude, I mean, we've spoken, messenger, we've done an interview, we'll talk about that. But, dude, man, welcome to the show, man. We've talked a lot in the last couple of months, man, and I know what's been going on with you, but welcome to the show, and thanks for coming on to talk to us a little bit about all that's been going on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's been thanks for having me too. I appreciate all the help you've been helping me out with. So basically, I mean the whole, obviously there's basically too much shit going on to even. I don't even know where to start.
So but Connor, we talked about it like in an interview, but a lot of people haven't read it, but let's talk about the shutdown. You had a fight coming, you were fighting for ammo, you had a busload of people coming, we're getting ready, you headlined the card. This is the year 2020 Contender Series, right around the corner with a big win, and then boom, it all gets slipped away, man. Let's talk about that weekend and leading up to that weekend.
Hell yeah! So we'll rewind back a little bit for that. So honestly, I was like, it was a little bit over a year since my last fight from that point, and really my last fight at that point, like, it didn't really, my opponent wasn't that great of an opponent. It didn't bring me the challenge that I was looking for out of it. It didn't really. It didn't really do the job that I wanted it to do, So I wasn't really satisfied with it either. So I wanted to get back in there, and I took that. I knew my shoulder was kind of funky, anyways. Just to pump back through some, get just the numbers get looking a little bit better, and make me a little more marketable for the contender. The idea was ideally, I'm a young kid. Hopefully, fight for the contender. Take some tough fights and. And yeah, at that point, either do or die. I've been training for a long time. I've been fighting since I was 15 years old. Like I started actually competing in amateur boxing 10 years ago. So it's been a long journey, man. And I think in the long run, I think it's going to end up just being more of a marathon than a sprint, really. For a while, I was trying to get to the UFC and all that shit like before I was ready, and I think a lot of people do that too. I think it's kind of a common thing that you see nowadays. You see like a promoter will give like somebody a bunch of like junk easy fights over and over again, and then they'll get them to the big show, and unfortunately for them, like their record's good, but maybe they aren't as good, and so maybe they'll flop on the big show the second they get there, or something along those lines. So I originally, like when I got into fighting professionally, I wanted to get to the UFC as quick as possible, and that's kind of like the thing. We just kind of like, you just want to sprint there, and you want to take like. You want to go, get 4 quick fights and go 4-0, and then boom, maybe get it from there. Or go 5 quick fights, 5, boom, and then get it from there. I never, I don't. At this stage in the game, I'm hoping that I just outlast all these motherfuckers who. It's so hard and so grueling, man. That you need to be willing to just throw like years of your life, like. Down away, like you gotta dedicate everything to it, or else you're not gonna get anywhere in it, And at this point, I'm just gonna, it's gonna be a long journey there, and by the time I get there, whether it's a year, 5 years, whatever, I'm gonna be a fucking beast regardless. I'm gonna be pushed through everything I need to. I'll know everything about myself as a fighter. I'll know all my weak points. I've already worked them. And I'd have a big advantage over the people who do get into the UFC at 4-0 or 3-0, or the dudes who have 3 fights and they make it there, So I think at that point I'd have a much more experience on them and all that shit. I kind of digressed a little bit, but
that's all right. Well, Connor, I mean, some of these fighters are that are getting opportunities, you've fought and you've defeated like fighters that are in that, in that category you're talking about. So, you're there. It's just now it's getting busy, which was brought to a halt. Do you think that fight happening, would that have catapulted you to that Contender Series or a UFC shot somewhere?
Yeah, that was my goal through the whole thing. I mean, I was ideally, I would have wanted to just get right in on there, and then the idea was hopefully I would have had my shot at the Contender right off of there, and we would have just like kind of from there we could have kind of addressed and see what needs to be done, see what things need to be tweaks, and kind of go on from there.
Well, you had a shoulder injury, which you talked a lot about, that you were fighting through, and you were trying to not get surgery and talking to doctors, and basically, you had to get it. How's the shoulder now? How you feeling? I know, you just got back to training as far as being able to, get and work with actual fighters. But, how's the shoulder feeling after, all this time you had to rest it?
So the shoulder right now is probably as close to 100 as it's been in a long time, which is good. Because even going into like a couple months ago, even then, I would say it wasn't. I would say it was 100, but it wasn't really even 2 months ago going into that fight. Like, it wasn't where I like. My main purpose of that camp was just to be able to get in it and get out like as healthy as possible, see how my shoulders feeling, just get back into the swing of things, man. Just being able to like cut the weight, all that bullshit, and just get used to it again. To be honest, like after the year off, just to I don't, and it kind of it's. I feel like, I don't want to be making excuses or anything, but like a couple of my losses were like, I feel like just the number is what gets looked at a lot of times. It kind of sucks, man. It's because, as much, it takes 5 seconds it takes half a second to look at a number, and it takes like 30 minutes to watch some of these fights. So nobody watches them, and everybody sees the number that's associated with it. So like you'll see me and it'll be like 6-3, and then you won't see like any sort of anything behind that. Like when I fought Taylor Trahan, like I was like so dominant I didn't get touched the whole fight. Like it wasn't even in any danger, and I lost.
It was like a John Jones, Matt Hamble kind of thing, right?
one of my elbows was illegal. I was finishing the guy off, like he was knocked out, and as I'm like finishing him off, one of the elbows may or may not have hit his ear, and
hey, dude, and that one, like you said, that one thing, that one, ruling or one disqualification or whatever they ruled on that, that hurts, man, especially when you've been working your ass off, and that fight's going to get you to the next level or even a better position for the next camp, you know what I mean? So that's tough. Was there anything you tried to do with that fight as far as appeal it or anything?
Yeah, I did try to appeal it. I sent them messages. I sent them through like the video that they sent, and it's the New Hampshire Athletic Commission, so like they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they were probably sitting having a donut, and they just looked at it and said,
I mean, they only have one show in New Hampshire. They only have combat. That's it. That's the only show. And like they, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about their commission or anything, but they're not like as organized or as like professional as Massachusetts is.
Yeah.
And so I mean, even in Massachusetts, I feel like if I were to argue it, they probably wouldn't give. I mean, for the local level, they don't like. It seems like they just don't give a fuck about it.
There's too many things on the table for them to go through.
They're gonna be like, why the fuck are we appealing a match from 20 whatever? or yeah, they don't really care. It's not in their interest.
No,
It kind of sucks, but like at that point, like just like one or two numbers, like I don't know, like maybe let's say I don't know, Steve Rita didn't stop the fight with Giannetti when he did, and maybe that went into a decision, and that one could have gone either way. That was a fairly close fight, you know, especially with that third round. I would have thought I had the first two, like, you know, just marginal, just control position, and the third he would have won just with the threat of the submission, you know. But that could have gone either way. The Taylor Trahan fight, like, I don't see any way how that didn't go my way.
Now.
That could have made a big difference. I could have been like 8-1.
Yeah, exactly. On a 3-fight winning streak or 3 or 4 fight winning streak. So you know, to get back to the Joe fight, because I never talked to you about this fight as far as like the decision or anything. Yeah. Does that not sit well with you, right? Have you gotten over that fight and the way it ended?
Well, you know, like it's kind of tough, like, because it was obviously like that was obviously probably one of the worst things that could have happened to me in that, and you know, like I had some regrets about my game plan in it. Really, you know, I kept thinking, you know, it's like, all right, I got more strength, you know, like I got a better ground game, you know, I'll use some pressure. I saw some holes in his game that I could use, and really, like, a dude like that, like, Joe's good. He does have good jiu-jitsu, and what's good about, like, what makes a dude like that hard to train for is, like, he's very he kind of, it's not similar to me, but it is kind of like where we have this unorthodox, like, body type. We're long, we have, like, we're very flexible, that you can just throw an explosive too, you know, and like, so my biggest concern in that was, like, not to get caught into anything stupid. So I was like, I'm gonna just have a real tight game. I'm gonna just play pressure. I'm gonna stay on top when I can, land some short strikes. I'm not gonna, like, get emotional and open myself up for anything stupid, you know. That's one of his big strategies is he'll try to get you to do something stupid, you know. You go up and you go for a big punch, you get caught in a triangle or something. So I was like, let's try to keep it nice and safe. We'll be safe, and I'll just win a decision. And you know, looking back at it, maybe I probably could have gone more into it at this point. Maybe that would have been a bad idea. Who knows? But really, the biggest thing on that fight, man, is I'm just pissed that it got stopped when it did. You know, that's really all. Like, if it had gone the third round and had, I don't know, let's say he won that round 10-8 on the last round, something like that, like, that it could have been a draw, could have been, who really knows, but I would have much rather have the judges decide rather than Steve come in and save me.
All right, last question on that before we move on. How's your dialogue with Steve Rita nowadays?
You know, I do like Steve. He's a funny guy, man. I got nothing bad to say about Steve. I do like him. He's good friends with my uncle, actually. So I knew him before. He told us before the fight. He's like, guys, you know, I know the implication of this fight. Like, the winner of you two are probably gonna go to the UFC again, and blah blah blah. And he's like, I'm gonna just wait till the very last minute to stop it. And I was like, all right, thank God. Like he's guys, like, that's what I.
Hey, were you thinking that? Were you thinking that when you were caught in that submission? Were you saying he's gonna let this go?
I'll give you everything that, you know, like, I'm gonna say it a million times. You're gonna have to get out. And he kept, like, oh, that was the thing. He kept going, Connor, you gotta get out of there. You gotta get out of there. And every time he'd say it, I'd be like, all right, so I have to move right now. And I mean, that's kind of really the thing. Is like, if I didn't move, maybe I would have got out sooner, you know, had he not have said, like, hey, move, you know, because now here I am. I'm like, instead of actually, you know, it would be boring as fuck to see me defend out of there. I'd look like Ace Ventura coming out of that ride of asshole. But you know, like, honestly, that would probably be the way to get out. It's just to wait, you know, and then it might take a minute. sometimes it does in jiu-jitsu, but when a ref is yelling at you like that you got to move, you know, I was getting hit with a little hammer fist on the top of the head. So when a ref's yelling at you to move, you got to move so it doesn't like so the fight can stop. So so I moved, and you know I kept having to go through that shit, you know, where maybe if I didn't move I could have got out, maybe or not, but you know, it is what it is. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. You know, I got no hard feelings toward Rita.
All right. So let's get to where you are. You're a 155 pounder, 6-3. Two of those fights, we just talked about that they could be easily, you know, either way. One of them definitely the other way. Joe's, you know, we don't know. Where do you see yourself? I mean, you're coming off injury, 100%. You're ready to get back in there. You're coming off a real fast win. Where do you see yourself in the division now? Where do you see yourself, you know, getting out of New England as far? Do you think it's going to be before or after you get a fight in New England? Because it could be months before we get an MMA fight for you guys in the regional levels.
Yeah.
Do you think your chances, the UFC just needing you on a card or the Contender Series getting going and you're just going there right away?
You know what, man? That would be fucking ideal, dude. I would love it. I think it's, at this point, I think it may be a bit of wishful thinking. You know, I don't know if, you know, I think there may be more, I think it's a bit wishful thinking at this point, you know, just with like where I've been, you know, with the layoff, the shoulder injury, you know, like just the record being where it is right now, through all that shit, and you know, I would jump on that opportunity all day. I would fucking love to have it, but I think I'm gonna have to fight back around local, or at the very least in different organizations or something, just to market myself a little more, you know.
Excellent. Well, you've had 2 months. We've been, you know, quarantined, all that stuff. It seems like the world's opening up a little bit for, you know, MMA. Gyms in Rhode Island got to open up. What about Mass? How are they seated as far as gyms opening up and you guys being able to get a little training in without being arrested for it?
Yeah, so I've been lucky enough that I had a lot of training with my brother in for a bit. I mean, just jits, really, just jiu-jitsu, but it was something that just, you know, kept me busy. And really, man, like, it's not like I just love MMA as MMA. It's like I love MMA, but I love jiu-jitsu a lot as well. You know, it's jiu-jitsu is probably one of my favorite things. You know, I like, and I like punching people. I like hitting people. I like striking. But there's something about just the art of jiu-jitsu, man, that like you don't use like the strength that it's a different. I don't know. It's an art to me. It really is. It's like painting a picture out there. You know, you don't use any or very minimal strength, very minimal explosiveness, and you're just kind of like brushing strokes left and right all around that mat. It's a beautiful art, man, and honestly, like, as much as I like striking, I don't think they can compare with jiu-jitsu in terms of, at least my opinion.
Well, you know, looking at you on social media and just knowing you, and you know, on a personal level, you coach a lot of jiu-jitsu. You do a lot of reps with you know, individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about that, because I've seen a lot of instructional video you've been doing on, you know, online, on YouTube, on Facebook. Talk a little bit about that and how that's working out for your students, and just like people in general wanting to learn a few techniques.
Yeah, hell yeah. So that was like my initial reason behind all that was just to try to keep all my students busy, or at the very least, like, keep their head in the martial arts thing, you know, like sometimes you get into a routine for so long, and when that routine gets stripped from you, it kind of fucks you up mentally a little bit, where like we have these kids who, we have like a good amount of students, and myself included, who like our mental health is reliant on us like being healthy and like exercising and like socializing with our friends, and now like these three things like we all do as a group together, like we have our team, and we exercise together, we're like we chat together, we socialize together, like we're a team, and it's just yeah, it's hard when you take all that shit away, especially you doing it every day. You build up like this group of people, you're seeing it every day, and then boom, so it's all like the rug just pulled up from your feet.
Well, as far as timeline, I know I've seen you outside. I've seen you, visiting a person or a couple people here and there, getting in a little work. How busy can you stay right now, and where do you see the gyms opening up, and you getting work as far as MMA? You know what I mean? Getting in that quality work. I mean, is there a fight club somewhere in a basement that you're getting work in? How are you going to keep your skills, going in that twitch muscles and just that mind alert in the.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, basically, my first idea in it was to just keep my mind active with it. So like doing the write-in and the breakdowns, and like technical stuff like techniques and shit like that. Just trying to like teaching it helps you out a lot too. It's yeah, you got to be able to communicate what you know, and a lot of times like the part of you that knows things doesn't really know how to communicate it. So by like allowing those two different parts of your brain to kind of communicate a little bit better, you kind of have a greater understanding of the shit that you're trying to teach anyway. So part of it was a selfish thing for myself, like just trying to keep active mentally with it, keep the demons away. And then the other part was to like just keep my students and keep them in the same state of mind as me, where we could kind of like just get the gears going in your mind again, like maybe just stay active with it and stay healthy, and not let ourselves get fucking depressed and anxious and all that bullshit through this shit.
Well, you got a huge gym that, not only do you train for yourself there to get ready for fights, you're getting fighters ready yourself. I've seen you at plenty of smoker shows. Pat Jones, before he started tearing it up on the circuit there, he was getting in some work, getting in some matches there. How fun is that for you to be on the other side and actually to see your work with these kids and these fighters come full circle when you see it actually working in the cage of the ring for them?
Man, that's great, dude. It's like I mean, the big thing with it too is it pushes us all. Like when we see one person going and fight, and I mean, win or lose, it's like we all want to be there. We all want to be in his position or their position, and we can't, so we're there to support them. But when that shit happens, it's almost like a little victory for yourself too. It's one, it pushes me where I'm like, all right, here's my student, and he's getting good, blah blah blah. So it's good as they go up, then I start going up too. I mean, they're my training partners, so the better I can make my students and my training partners, the better I'm gonna be too, just from it. So I like to like I'll show out all like my secret tricks to like training partner.
Do you make them sign like a something like a waiver they can't tell anyone or something? They can never use it in competition or something.
Yeah, you can't use it. At least. But, yeah. So I'll give up all my good shit. And if I'm landing something too much, like let's say I'm hitting like a triangle on everybody, like I'll make sure everybody knows how to get out of the triangle, and like then the next week it'll be fucking crazy because like I'd have hit so many people with that triangle, and now I won't hit anybody with it because everybody knows how to get out of it. Work on something different, and then it's a continual thing where like we'll keep that, and I'll see these holes in my students' games. I'll patch them up for them, and then once they have it patched up, now I can get better too.
Yeah, you gotta reinvent your own move there. You gotta tweak it out. So my guy, not only you're busy in the martial arts world, all that good stuff, man. A lot of stuff. You talked about doing a lot of writing, doing a lot of fight breakdowns, but it just wasn't the fight breakdown, Connor. It was like the writing also that you put into the breakdown. Talk about how you got involved writing and how you wanted to do that. I mean, a lot of trainers, they can't put it down on paper. It's more of like they get an instructional video or they'll talk through the breakdown. You actually write it down. Do you get is that something that a passion of yours to write?
Yeah, well, so really, honestly, man, I was a fucking horrible writer. I was always a terrible writer too, like in college, and I didn't really enjoy it. I liked reading a lot more, but writing was always like it was always maybe it was a bit of like insecurity over like a mental like my knowledge, I guess. Like maybe I wasn't as secure with like sharing, like maybe I didn't think that I was smart enough or that people would listen to it as much, and maybe at this part of the game where like I've just been doing it for so long, and I just know so many things that like a lot of people don't nowadays, and that isn't really taught. And I just thought about what I would have wanted, like when I was coming up as a fighter, like what were the resources that I didn't have that I would have liked to read or would have helped my game out. So that was really the initial one of the things with that is try to use the writing to. Honestly, man, writing's fucking tough, dude, and I give you guys credit for doing it, dude.
Who, me? Don't say you guys, dude. I can't even fucking spell. Get the hell out of here. Oh, dude, I mean, well, I told you. I mean, when we did the article together, my girlfriend had to edit the whole thing. I mean, but here's the thing. Connor, when you answered the questions, and we didn't have to really fix anything because you're a writer. You know what I mean? It was my questions that had to be all fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the writing does help, man. It's again, you're just connected different parts of your brain, like, stuff that I could easily say to somebody, like, or even stuff that I know that I probably couldn't say, like I couldn't verbalize. Like, there's obviously like moves, or maybe you can't tell your student why something's not working, or like, and he'll be like, dude, this jab cross is not working, and you're like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like. And it kind of sucks because you as a coach could have a nasty jab cross, and students could be terrible, and you might not know how to verbalize it so that your student understands it. A lot of it is just making things understandable for other people, and that's kind of like the hardest thing with it too. Is like you have to. Like my world in my head is way different than other people.
Well, you got a lot of things going on, brother. You know what I mean? You're intelligent. Hey, yeah. It's usually the very intelligent, talented people that got a lot of fucking shit going on, man.
Yeah, you know it.
So, Connor, let's talk a little bit about a little article that we done on you. I had an opportunity. New England MMA had an opportunity to jump aboard with an online tattoo magazine, specializing in tattoos all around the country. The number one actual online tattoo magazine in the country, 24/7 Ink Mag. They asked New England MMA if we could do a couple of interviews every couple of months for them, because they come out every 2 months with an issue. And we reached out to you and Devin Powell, and you guys jumped all over it, and we got you on there. So let me put your cover on there. But Connor, I mean, we got that done in like 5 days. You had a photographer. I mean, you got one of your buddies to take pictures of you. Let me put let me put it up there. So
great.
There's the cover right there. All right, so Connor, Bare Knuckle Barry was on 24/7 Inc. He wasn't on the cover, but his name was on the cover, though. You got to give that fucking credit. And he was actually, our article was in the magazine. So if you go to 24/7 Inc. Mag.com, there's our article. And I also have hard copies coming in that I'll ship you.
I was wondering how to get the hard
Yeah,
copies.
you can order them, but I ordered a bunch. I mean, if you want to order some more, you can go online and order them right off. You can order the copies off there, but I ordered a bunch. I'll send them to you. But if you want some more, tell your friends to go on there, order them, whatever they want to do. But so Connor, when I messaged you asking you if I could do like a little questionnaire on you and stuff on this tattoo magazine, I mean, you were prime suspect, prime candidate. You're all tatted up and otted out there. Man, what were you thinking when I called? Were you saying, what's this kid, man? Like, what's it? Did you think it was, like, serious? What do you think was going on?
What was that?
Did you think it was serious? Or you think I was just, like, making my own magazine or something?
No. I figured it was going to be a serious thing. I wasn't sure. I wasn't really sure, like, to the extent of what was going to come of it or what would be, what would be the extent of the interview, but man, that came out fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude. Congratulations. I mean, you got a lot of feedback when you shared it. I mean, I shared it a million times with you. I guess you're probably sick of seeing it by that point. But you got a lot of positive feedback. The magazine loved it. They can't wait until we do some more. Travis did the one. He did the one on Devin. I sent him the questions, but Travis, he knows more about Devin than I do, so he wrote all about it. We're gonna do more, and we're gonna reach out not to only New England fighters, but we might reach out to former New England fighters that are in the UFC or Bellator. Talk about what they're going. They gotta have tattoos though. So if you don't have a tattoo, go get it.
Nightmare tattoos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can. We can go expand with this down the line any way we want. I can get nightmare tattoos, tattoo cover-ups with fighters, so
we gotta do the worst tattoos.
Yeah, we'll have our own vote. We'll have everyone send them in, the fighters, and then we'll pick the best one and we'll do an article on it. So Connor, you can write the article. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
So that I just I got the cover and I got all the you remember I clipped out the pictures and then made a photo montage. So we got that up. So if you haven't seen it, go to 24/7 Inc. Mag or Connor's page, my page. It's all over there. Just click the link and you can go check it out. It's free to check out. If you want your hard copy, order. It's only like $3. Probably cost you about $6 with shipping. So support Connor. Go check out his story. Support the magazine so we can keep going and get more fighters on there. So awesome, bro. So Connor, where are we going? Yeah, we'll go about 10 more minutes.
Okay.
But we talked about your training partners and your students, stuff like that. How are they? They're all busy. I mean, you got fighters that are fighting. You had Pat Jones that won. What did he win? Fight of the night, or performance of the night at the Combat Zone.
Yes, sir.
So you got. Who's the other kid? He fought Muay Thai and he fought MMA and he came away with the win. Vasta. Yeah. All right. How are these kids doing? How are they hanging in there? And are you ready to beat the hell out of them?
They're doing good, man. Pat's got a cool thing going too. He has he lives in an apartment with one of my training partners too, Murillo. He's a brown belt from Brazil. He's got nasty jiu-jitsu. He's been a brown belt for probably since I was a blue belt.
Oh, is that right?
Brown schools. Honestly, he'd be a black belt if he could just stay with the gym for a little while. He's just been moving around all over the place. So Pat's living with him now, and I actually sold him all my mats from my old gym. Yeah, so I had a small little dojo for a little bit before I moved to Defensive Edge. So I sold him some of those mats, and he matted up his whole living room, and he's been training up there.
His whole living room, huh?
Yeah, I went up there one day during the quarantine. Vasta goes up there too, so he's still getting some training in over there. and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. They're young. They don't care. They don't give a shit. I've seen a lot of it. I mean, fighters got to get the work in. I mean, they be getting together outside and stuff like that. What do you think? Oh, there's a bunch of people saying stuff right now. What do you think what do you think your timeline is until you can start like training and actually getting some reps in there with heading to Lausanne's or something like that? I mean, when do you think that's going to be a possibility? Do you think it's going to be in June? Do you think we're going to have to wait until July? What do you think until there's some contact between you and another MMA fighter?
Man, that's a good fucking question, man. Like right now, as far as like MMA fighters, obviously I'm not a doctor or anything, but like we're all healthy people, and if we weren't healthy, you probably shouldn't really be fighting anyway, We have to go through all these like pretty rigorous like health exams every time that we want to fight and all this shit. Like one of us dying from a coronavirus is probably going to be few and far between, and not to, I mean, we're not like 70, 80 years old, but so I think if we could do it responsibly, if people can train and, just stay around like this age, like between like 18 and 30, like there's been very little problems between that.
Yeah, we understandable.
Yeah, and like I said, we're all healthy. Like hopefully June would be awesome. I think it's probably going to be early July. It looks like. Right now, they're letting outdoor classes go on in Massachusetts. So we started doing. We can still only have up to 10 people, but we can do classes as long as they were outside, which kind of stupid, I guess. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Not really, but that's the best we got for now.
Yeah.
And then thing two for Massachusetts is one-on-one training. So I could do personal training then, which like. Technically, we could still do that already outside because it's outdoor training. Yeah. And the only difference then would it be you can now do it indoors.
Yeah, and you got a little more capability to do other things inside too. So that'll be a plus when that happens and stuff like that. So, Connor, man, what are you doing tomorrow? Are you training tomorrow? You got a fight club going tomorrow? What's going on?
Actually, I'm training tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, that's
a small group going in, and we'll probably get like 2 or 3 people, and we'll just kill each other.
Yeah, that's all it takes, brother. That's all it takes. It's them clusters are all over the place, brother. People are staying.
Exactly.
Yeah, the type.
Like it would be great to go back up to Lausanne and train with some of those guys too, but yeah, I mean, just staying active, staying like. Just mentally in the same zone that like we're hungry for it, where we want it, and we know why we're doing it, and that's the best thing you can do, man. Because once you start questioning yourself, like start questioning like your bigger plan like that. I mean, you probably didn't have a set big plan if you have to question it like that. If you don't really know your big plan like that, then you're never gonna get there. And if you do, how do you know you got there? Because you don't know.
Yeah, you still looking.
Get out. You gotta have the plan. You gotta like be dedicated towards it, and you gotta work towards it, man.
Awesome. All right, brother. Last question before I let you go and give you shout outs and stuff. You do realize that we do have a New England MMA rankings coming out, right?
Yeah. Sure.
We're doing our own. We're taking over Tapology's rankings because these are real. We've had media, we've had fans, and we've had promotions vote on them. So they're going to be coming out this weekend, I think Sunday. So we went back 18 months as far as the fighters because, like, we've had, these lulls as 2 months. And then, we thought 18 months was a good thing. So, Connor, will you be interested where you stand in the rankings? And do you think the rankings and just having a New England-based rankings will be a positive thing for fighters to maybe get some matchups going in New England other than bringing in fighters from out of New England to fight each other?
Yeah, man, I think that's gonna be great. Honestly, it's great what you guys are doing for it, man. It's like we had that dude Hammersmith tried to do it a couple of years ago, and he gave that up fairly quickly. I think he was a bit controversial with it too.
Oh, is that right? Oh, so yeah, he did it on his own, right?
Yeah, because he had something like that like years ago, and like people obviously were looking for something like, and even Mass MMA had their own rankings too. I don't know if you remember, like Dan Bonnell.
Yeah.
That was the way. I don't know. Is that still the website?
He's got a group page, but it's not like really active. He's not doing much as far as updating, as far as rankings or anything.
Yeah, that's what I figured, man. You know, like, and that's just what it seems about it. It just seems like, I mean, it's the thing with the martial arts too, and that's what's so good about like what you're doing with it, man. Is like you're sticking with it, dude, and it's like that's half the battle. It's just
consistency.
Doing it, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like that's you have to fucking do it. If you don't fucking do it, like you can't just. And it's the same for me. Like if I want to start like writing or something like that, like if I want to start writing, I'm gonna have to keep writing for fucking years. Man.
Yeah.
Like I'm nowhere fucking near the level that I need.
Exactly. I mean,
I need to spend. I don't know. I'm gonna say probably like at least three more years writing at least once or twice a week. You know, to even just start building that cloud or start building like. But you got to do it. And the same shit for you, man. Like you have this media, right? And you're putting content out every fucking day, dude. And you're putting it out every day. At one point in time, you're just gonna have so much content that something's gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, something pull you into the spot that you want to be. You know, like it might be an interview you did like fucking 10 years ago, and you're still doing it. You know, and now like maybe one of the fighters that you interviewed 10 years ago is a UFC champ or something like that. You know, and now your fucking video has 3 million views on it, and you did it when the kid was a fucking amateur, you know? Or when the kid was amateur with
Hey, Connor, it could happen with this podcast tonight. this that could be you. It could be you it could be you 5 to 10 years from now. Well, my buddy, man, thanks so much for coming on, bro. Man, it's been great chatting with you. Like I said, we've been talking offline and we've been getting together anyway. But I wanted everyone else to hear what you've been doing and getting ready for it, because not only are you getting ready for yourself, and you got a fight team and a whole gym that you're your family with, man. So give your shout outs and whoever you want to thank and whoever sponsors or social media, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah. So big shout out to F5 Fight Team, Rick Alford. Everybody at Defensive Edge, fucking gym's awesome, man. It's been those guys have been so helpful for me, and just allowing me to call it my home. You know, just where I can do my thing. I could train. I could bring my own people in and really build up, like a team. Just and I don't want to say from the ground up necessarily, because Defensive Edge had their own MMA team, and I have my own MMA team, and we merged, so they were kind of, but when I first got over there, it was kind of like it was kind of all over the place. So when we unified both of our teams, that's when everything we basically did kind of build it from the ground up from there. Like we had a bunch of like people who were good as individuals, and we had to make them good training partners too. And that's the big thing, is a lot of people who can be good fucking fighters, but a shit training partner. So big shout out to Defensive Edge, number one. Shout out to family, friends, fiance, you for the opportunity to talk, and yeah, man, I don't think I'm missing too much else.
No, that's about it, man.
Everything.
If you want to know any more, go see his article at 247inkmag.com. Connor, thanks so much for coming on, dude. You gotta, when shit gets rolling again, man, come down here with a couple of training partners, like, Anthony and Mr. Jones there. Come on down and sit down with us, and let's We can, talk through a couple of your fights. You can, you can analyze. Yeah, exactly. You can analyze. You can analyze the fights and tell you guys what they need to improve on. We can roast them.
I'd be totally game for that.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it, man. We'll have it done as soon as we get rolling again with this fight shit.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
All right, my man Connor. Thanks so much for coming on, man. We'll talk real soon.
All right, Steve. Thanks, brother.
All right, later. Awesome. I need to get him. Where is it? There it is. All right. So, Connor, Bare Knuckle Barry. Let me take his. There we go. There we go. And there we go. So that was pretty damn good, man. Connor had a lot to say, and of course he has a lot to say because Connor's a coach. He's a fighter. He's a fight team coach. He's a lot of bit of everything, and he's got a full plate. So of course he's going to have a lot to talk about. So awesome. So with that said, thank you so much for coming on. A lot of stuff going on out there in the country. My heart goes out to all the people hurting out there. My support, everyone out there that needs my support. I just want everyone to know I feel for you, and I'm here for you. If you want to message me on Messenger, I'm always available. I'm always on there, and everyone knows that I'm easy to get a hold of on Messenger. So you want to talk to me about anything, you want to get my point of view, you want to just shoot the shit, you want someone to vent on, I'm your guy. So message me on Messenger. With that said, next week I do. Not sure who I'm gonna have on next Wednesday. I was talking to Jake Pilla. So I think I'm going to be hooking up with him at some time. But next week, I think we're going to have a podcast with New England MMA gentlemen Lars Borison and Travis Lazat going over the rankings, the New England MMA rankings. So with that said, the rankings will be out this weekend. We do have posters coming out with the 1 through 10s in each weight category. I know all the slots. I know who's number 1. I know who's number 10. I know who's number 5. I know everybody. So I have the beans. I have the power. I know who is number 1 in New England on all weight classes. So with that said, you're not getting the beans. Saturday night or Sunday, NewEnglandMMA.org. First inaugural rankings will be out. So check it out. With that said, Steve Domenico, we are out of here.